Hey guys, for this video we're going to take off the door panel on this 66 Chevy. I want to put on some new chrome cranks and handles, which you don't have to take the door panel off for that, but I also want to replace the mirror, the outside handle, and the lock. So I thought we'd do a quick video on how to do that. Mine's a tad bit different than someone else's who might have the same car. Normally the bottom here is carpet, and it has these little push nails, kind of like where you see the screws, and they just push in, so you get behind there with a little preferable plastic pry bar and kind of gently pry on it. The backing of this originally is basically cardboard, so very fragile, especially if it's as old as mine. 60-year-old cardboard isn't in the best shape. But the first thing we have to do is take out the screws for the armrest. There's two. One on this side, one on the other side. We also have to take off the lock knob, which just unscrews, nice and easy. The door handle just has a screw here. It's a spline shaft, so once we get the screw out, you just pull it straight off. What's probably going to be the most difficult part is removing your window cranks. There's a clip that looks just like this inside there. You're going to use a tool like this that's going to grab the open end there and push it backwards, which gets it off the spline shaft. There's like a notch in a spline shaft. You'll see it when I get it off, but this tool slides just in like this. We got to get behind, hard to do while holding the camera, but we're going to get behind the crank and then push backwards, or push inward. So once we're underneath there, we're going to push in and kind of jiggle a little bit. The clip is supposed to go this direction, but mine's not popping off, so I'm going to spin this around and try and get to it from the other angle. See, now we're coming in from the back side of the handle. And you can see how the clip sits in there. So you just got to work it back and forth. If you have one of these, which you should, you want to be between the handle and this. So you're like that, working it in there. Then what's happening is the inner prongs of that tool are getting right on those tabs, and when you push in, you're pushing the clip back. And you do the same thing for the window crank. Now, mine has screws right here, but again, you're not going to have that, and I got to take out this speaker, which has 4 screws. I got those screws out. Now, if you're wondering, I did say this normally comes with carpet here. If you're wondering what my fabric is, I used extra from the headliner and put it there. So anyways, this is just going to pull out, and then we're going to lift up. It's sitting on a lip right here, so just bring the bottom out and pull the whole thing up. Alright, we got the door panel off. If yours is original, then these little nylon sleeves or whatever you'd call them right there, that's where those nails push into on the door panel. So that's where you're prying all the way up the side. They're normally down the bottom. And up this side, first thing we're going to do is change out the mirror. So your first thing is there's a screw right inside there that holds the mirror itself, and then there's a bracket underneath there. So we got to take that Phillips screw out. It's right there. So there's the bracket underneath. You can see it's just 2 Phillips screws that are going to take it off. But the way this works is, if you see this tab right here, that hooks the back side there, so it sits like that. And then the front screw goes through that hole. It's the screw right here, and tightens it down, holds it in place. So you can see the new mirror comes with a new gasket, a new bracket, and the hardware you'll need. So we just need to slap this on the same spot. Remember, your hole is for the screw, so that goes to the front, the hook goes to the back, and pow, just like that. Have our new bracket on there. Just need to put the new mirror on. So you push in the back, lean in the front, and then put that screw right through the front of it there. Got the screw tight. New mirror's on. Let's move on to the handle and the lock. Alright, see the lock there? We need to pull that tab back, and then the lock will basically fall out of the front. So I'm going to try and pull the tab with one hand while reaching around the door and keeping the lock from falling out and scratching something on the other side. But just pull straight back. So here's the lock outside of the car. You see those little tabs there? They go through the door, and then this clip goes between the tabs like so, and that's what's holding it. So when you pulled that out, nothing else holds this. There's a rod that goes through here, but there's no clip or anything. It just goes through it. Now I'm putting a new lock on. It does not come with this bracket here, so we got to pull this clip out. So this little clip you just push forward and then line it up with the cutout there that matches this half circle. And the bracket comes off. And we'll put it on the new lock right there. New lock came with a new little keeper. A little easier to do with two hands, but we're just going to push this down and then we're going to tap this little tab into the hole just a little bit. Alright, new lock's ready to go. Just slides into the door, and the new locks came with new clips. Save your old one, never know when you might need it. And we'll put it back on. To make life easier on myself, I'm going to take out the door handle before putting the new lock in. And that has two bolts. The one bolt right there, and then the one right there. Mine are 3/8. We got the old handle out. It's not as easy as just slapping the new one in. The new one's going to come with new bolts. My new ones are 10 millimeters. Comes with two gaskets. And here's your button assembly, but look at the difference. Here's the original. Whoa, don't lose that spring. Here's the new one. See how much longer the rod is? We have to cut this rod to match that one. Now this comes apart. You kind of push in and this piece will turn sideways and then come out. So on the new one, functions the same way. See that little channel right there? You turn it that way so it holds the channel, turn it that way to release, then you can take it out and you can cut your new rod to fit the length of the old rod. So here's comparing the old one with the new one. Now I wouldn't just mark this and cut it to match. I would use this old one and the new handle, test fit it on the door and make sure that's good. When I did the passenger side, I could probably push the button in about halfway before it did anything. So when I cut this one, I made it just a little bit longer so that you would feel resistance more when you first start pushing the button and not have half of the travel just be dead doing absolutely nothing. A little fun fact, everything you watched up until now was recorded in October, but the garage isn't heated and I don't like freezing, so this is now April. So we're picking up where we left off. I got the rod cut, just used an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel on it, and we're going to put the handle on. Don't forget our gaskets, and our bolts are over here. Let's see, these things all back together, ready to go. Got the handle back in, looks good. Time to put in the new lock. Getting ready to put the lock in. Make sure when you slide it through the door that you catch your little rod right there. It's got to go through the hole in the bracket. And the lock also has a little gasket guy. It's clear on this one. New lock is successfully in. You can see the clip pushed back on and the bars going through the rod there. Works. We're basically ready to start putting things back together, but while you have access and the door panel's off, it's a good idea to get a spray lubricant like this silicone lubricant and spray any of the moving parts and work them a little bit. You got your door latch, your window cranks, your lock mechanism back here, or latch. Give all that stuff a good spray while you're here. Ready to put on the new interior handle. How shiny that new one is compared to the old one. Nice little upgrade there. Now the new handle does not come with a new screw, so you have to reuse your old screw. Just going to slide on here, and you don't want to do it like that. Make sure you got it level on the spline. Just like so, throw in our screw. Next, we're putting on the armrest. This is new, kind of. I replaced it 20 years ago. Interestingly enough, it's plastic. The originals were plastic too. But 2 Phillips screws. Just going on like so, get them lined up and screwed in. Got the new vent window crank. Put the old plastic, whatever that thing is, in there. So we're just going to slide this guy on there. The window crank came with a new clip. And we're just going to give it a little tap. Got that guy on. Works beautifully. Mine's a little bit more difficult to put on because when I redid these door panels, obviously got rid of that old cardboard and used 1/4-inch plywood as the backing for everything, which is a little bit thicker than the original cardboard, which is probably 1/8 inch or something. So it's a little bit more difficult to get these things on and off. Let's do the next window crank. Doing the same thing with the main window crank. You can see the one we're replacing, all pitted on the right, nice shiny new on the left. We're going to get our little plastic guy in there and tap this guy on. For most of you, that basically gets things back together. I'm going to put the screws back in along the bottom since I don't have those push pins anymore, but I'm going to replace them with some new stainless steel ones. Got that new hardware all in along the bottom there. Just time to put in the speaker. Also, I picked up new lock knobs. It's just a threaded rod. You just unscrew the old one, unscrew in the new one. They are plastic though, so be careful. The originals were also plastic. And we also have the passenger side done. New handle, new lock, new knob there, and new hardware inside. So, it's getting warm out. We'll be ready to cruise. That does it for this video, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll have more videos on the Caprice, on the Corvette, on the ZR2, and there's a '67 Mustang in that tent.